I bought a John Deere MX7 rotary mower. Still has the road grime on it from hauling it here on the trailer. Fairly good shape, but like any rotary motor or bush hog or brush hog, whatever you want to call it, it's got a few dings and dents. For some reason they cut the bottom out on this side in the back. And they did the same thing on this side. It's missing the chain guard that goes around it. Chain guard that looks like that. There. A little damage on the top. So the story was that this broke the shaft on the gearbox. So that's a new gearbox. And that might explain all this damage. Has two wheels, tail wheel, it was mounted in the center. One was in the center, the other one was just laying on next to it where I bought it. You can run both wheels or just one in the middle. Former owner tells me that he thought one wheel was better stability wise than the two, so I'll have to try both combinations. So I'll have to check the oil in that gearbox, and then under here is the slip clutch. I'll have to burn that in to make sure that it slips correctly. That's a good possibility. What could have happened to his, why the shaft broke on the gearbox. If that was too tight and he hit something, it could do damage elsewhere instead of slipping. So I need to go and loosen those up and get it to slip and burn off the rust and everything, and then readjust it. I wonder if you have to have like a feeler gauge or a certain gap here when you adjust it. I'll look into that. The other issue is right here. Those are category 2 sized pins. So that's like 1 1/8" pin where the lower draft arms will attach. This up here looks like it's the correct one. That isn't the right pin, but it looks like the hole is 7/8", which is what category 1 is. These are category 2. The distance between here and here is a little wider than all my category 1 implements. The hitch on my tractor is category 1. Right here. So what's the solution there? How am I going to make that work? Well, you can buy that pin, maybe. I haven't looked into it yet, but you should be able to buy that pin in a smaller diameter here to convert it to category 1, and then it should work just fine with my hitch. That's option 1. There's nothing I thought of that you could probably do is take these off if I can't find a replacement and have a local machinist machine that down with a lathe to the right size. That's probably, maybe, I'm gonna guess, a couple $100 in labor. Don't know what these pins are if I can get them, because they're kind of different. They're long here, so I don't know if I'll be able to find something like that. There's a third option, but it costs a lot of money. I kind of like this option, because one thing, as you notice, I have Pat's quick coupler, or quick hitch, I guess you call it. And if you look at those, which of course they're adjustable to the angle, but if I'm going to be further out, is it going to make that more of an angle and it might not fit very well? So there is an option. You can buy this arm, draft arm, from John Deere that has the bearing in the end here. It has 2 different size holes for it. It's got like a category 1 hole, and then you turn it a quarter of a turn and you've got a category 2 hole. And they're the telescope, so they have a attachment here that allows this to expand out so you can get it hooked up, and then you can back up and it'll lock back into place where it's supposed to be. That would work really nice. But is it worth the cost? Because they are around, well, if I buy 2 of them, the right and the left side, it's going to be $700. So is it worth spending? I know it's not, to spend $700 for 2 new arms. I'd probably sell those Pat's quick couplers, because you could use my tractor's, this is a really cool feature, hitch assist. This is where you can move the tractor back and forth and raise and lower the 3-point to get things hooked up back here. So I could use that and not use the Pat's and use the newer arms, but just for one implement. I'll probably never get anything else that has category 2, because I pretty much set up everything I need as far as implements for the back of this tractor. So I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards getting the different arms, although it's a lot more money, just for the ease of operation and the fact that I could run any other implement on it that had category 2 if I ever decide to get something else. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna use this summer just to mow down my pasture, keep the weeds from growing up, keeping the grass that the cows don't eat mowed down so they don't go to the seed, the weeds don't go to seed. Makes it look better, grows the normal grass or the good grass better. the rubber guard for the plastic guard for the PTO was kind of hammered and beat up. I don't think I'm thinking about just cutting that off and leaving it off, or I could buy another one just for looks. So this mower needs 40 horsepower, 40 PTO horsepower to make it work. My tractor has exactly 39.1 PTO horsepower, so it's a little tiny bit underrated. Most time with this particular tractor, people will run a 6-foot mower. It's a 4052R, but I'm gonna run a 7-foot mower. Another thing, I probably never will use it for very heavy brush. I'm just using it for pasture maintenance. That's it. The thing you can't see is underneath it, which I saw before I loaded it, and it has it does need blades, so I'll have to get some blades for it. So I'll get some blades. We'll check the oil in that gearbox, probably change it, burn in the slip clutch, either convert it to 3-point category 2 or spend some money and make my tractor more universal. It also has this floating top link, which is great. You know, that looks like it might be, that's the same size. Looks like the same size of pins, so the top thing should work. I also saw where you could buy, if you do this conversion from these arms to those newer ones, and I said that's $700 for the two of them. But if you wanted to buy a new one of these, that was category 2 on this end, and you could use a bushing inside the other eyelet for the smaller pin on the category 1. So, but that's another $350 for that for John Deere. I have looked at that. I like the way this has a jam nut, and then you got some welded on pieces here that you can grab with a bar or something to screw it in or out. The other one that John Deere has a folding lockdown, and you can unclick it and move it up, and then you could use it as leverage to turn it, to adjust it in and out. I like that. I don't know if I'd get that for the extra $350. So we'll see what I decide to do on that. There's the extra wheel. It looked like there was some repairs done to it too at one time. Yeah, looks like pretty new repair. It's in a fairly new weld right there. What's this one look like? It's all right. So sometime early summer, we'll get all this stuff done and try it out. Maybe sooner, depending on how much time I got. Stay tuned. We'll see what happens.